Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Thank you very much for your company. Hopefully you'll stick with us as we talk about not only these Premier Sports Cup semi-finals, we'll also look at the three Scottish Premiership fixtures and look at what's happening down south in the English Premier League. You can give us your view on that in the company of Alan Ruff and Tam McManus. You can always tell, Ruffy, when somebody's got a big weekend ahead, they start wearing really nice clothes and get the old dress suit on, eh?
That's fantastic. What is it you always say? It needs somebody with a bit of quality who can have their shirt outside their trousers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Button buttons burst.
Absolutely. Or they've been stopping off in too many burgers, but nevertheless, good to have the guys with us. We're going to talk football, of course. We're going to start with quite a poignant day for quite a number of people. The great and the good of Scottish football. We're all heading towards the cathedral. Of course, Walter Smith's passing prompted a private ceremony first and foremost, and rightly so, for his family and those really close to him. But there were so many people across the footballing world that wanted to show their respects to Walter. He had touched their lives in so many ways, either as a gaffer or indeed as a teammate at Dundee United or as an assistant coach. So not only people in the north but in the south as well, all assembled in Glasgow, and our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi was there.
Several of the biggest names in Scottish football were here at the Glasgow Cathedral to pay their respects to Walter Smith at his public memorial a little bit earlier on. Smith passed away 2 weeks ago at the age of 73, one of the greats of the Scottish game, leading to Rangers to 21 trophies, including their 9-in-a-row title sequence in the 90s. The Scotland manager as well, and plenty of players and managers from past and present were there, the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson, Duncan Ferguson, Darren Fletcher. You also had Ali McCoist, Frank Lampard, Neil Lennon, amongst others, were all here for a wonderful and joyous occasion. That's what they told us. Plenty of laughs remembering the life of Smith.
He kept his feet on the ground. He was very humble and always gave credit elsewhere. And you heard that from Ali McCoist. And he gave McCoist a lot of credit as well. All the players, plaudits, he didn't take it himself. So a wonderful guy and a sad loss.
It was also a ceremony of joy. To a great man. We all know the 21 trophies and everything, but we also know how great a human being he was. Absolute top class human being.
It's a 50 odd year relationship I've had with him, and there's nobody done any more for me personally, but you see the amount of people and the tributes they've made to him. It's just one of these times in life that you meet a guy like Walter.
For me, he helped me in my career early on. We're talking 47 years ago. So he was a massive influence on me, Brian.
He never knew, he knew where his roots were, and that never changed. And it's like everybody else. He got on with his life, lived his life well, but he was just genuine through and through. Very seldom got angry, but when he did, you listen to him. His nickname wasn't the Bear for nothing, I can tell you that.
A sad day, of course, but a day of remembrance of the fantastic life of Walter Smith. His legacy here in Glasgow, in Scotland, in world football, will never be forgotten.
Yeah, nice to hear some of the tributes there, and of course there was no shortage of recognisable faces walking into the cathedral at the start. Lots of people there keen to show their respects. Frank Lampard as well, who would have come into contact with him. Ali McCoist, I think one of the really close people. McCoist would have felt it the most. There's Alfredo Morelos and the Rangers squad coming in. Of course, there was indeed a presence from Celtic, quite a few of the board members and a couple of players, and Neil Lennon also making his way in, because if there was one thing that Walter Smith managed to do, is he transcended this divide that goes on in the west of Scotland between Rangers and Celtic. But these are all football men, and they all have a respect for each other. They may well have locked horns in battle over 90 minutes and beyond, but there is a respect about how difficult the job was, and there was a decency in the background, because each of them, regardless of race, creed or colour, would all help each other. And we have recalled on countless occasions, even something like broadcasting, the amount of times that Walter would reach out and offer his help. So it really was a marvellous man. Dundee United, Dumbarton in a playing career. He was first to admit he wasn't a great player, but he certainly was one of those guys that would put a lot of effort into studying not only under Jim McLean, but he'd look and see all the other managers and get little tips and make himself the ultimate coach. And it was easy enough for him, I think. I say easy. He'd studied that much that when Graham Souness decided to leave, he felt confident enough that he could step in there, albeit he may well have had a little bit of trepidation and fear.
No, you have to see the people that he worked under before he actually took it upon himself. All legends in the game. And if Sir Alex Ferguson, asked you to come down to be his assistant at Old Trafford, that just shows you the respect that he had from him. And you can see with the people, as you said, there is no divide when something like this happens. Socially, all the guys got on well together, and it just shows you, when they were all there today, and I'm sure it had been a very emotional ceremony.
Yeah, let's not forget Dundee United as the coach, and I'm glad to see the Dundee United legends there in Paul Hegarty and Hamish McAlpine, because he did have a strong influence there, backing up Jim McLean at Tannadice, and as Rangers manager, well, his success was incredible. 21 trophies, as Andy Cameron alluded to there. He also managed Everton at a difficult time, Tam, when really just keeping them in that division was the key, never mind trying to buy star players to go up into the top half of the table.
Yeah, it was. He went down there at a difficult situation for Everton. He went down there and steadied the ship, and I've seen a lot of tributes from Everton fans as well when he passed away. A lot of respect for him. Down there, it was a difficult job for him. Everton weren't in a top club at that time. They were just struggling to stay in the division, so I'm sure that they've got fond memories of him as well. And listen, I think, as Ruffy touched on there's no rivalry when it comes to things like this. I think Walter, there was no divide as well between the Celtic Rangers supporters, and you see the respect. Celtic were there as well. I expected that. I expected a cortege from Celtic to turn up, because he's one of those guys that everybody had respect for, because when he won, he was respectful. When he lost as well, he was magnanimous in defeat. So I think that he was a great football man, and he got a great send off, I think, today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much too. And as we look down, so many of the people who admire what Walter did, regardless of what team you support. Football is, after all, only a sport. What we have done, and we make a commitment to it, under the banner of decency, we try on countless occasions for the many people who comment on our feed and send us messages and emails about Walter and show their respects, but there are people who don't conduct themselves well, and we reiterate on a regular basis on this programme that on our YouTube feed we will ban as many as possible who basically don't want to talk about football. We try and do it as regularly as we possibly can. Sometimes we just can't get to as many as we would like to get to, who just can't offer a decent opinion without basically going into the gutter because they're either thick as mince or racist or sectarian. So we try and ban them as often as we can. And on a day like today, Walter Smith was a football man, and thank you to the countless people who show their respects and pay tribute to him. He certainly will be missed. I have to tell you, Ruffy, the great thing about him is he liked a good noise up. I mean, he was very kind to us, and we were launching Peter and Ruffy's football show, and he offered his help in any way he could, which for me pleased me greatly. I mean, it just gave me a huge lift when he said that to us. But he liked a good noise up, and this was a bag that that my nephew bought me. It's a Paul Smith bag, and I walked into. I have to say, I made the huge mistake, Tam, of walking into the Rangers training centre for the pre-match press conference, and sure he spotted me. But I used to keep the recording equipment for Radio Clyde in there, and he spotted it right away, and he went, "I'm not having that. You get it out." He says, "That is a mile out." I thought it was one of those trendy Paul Smith. Yeah. It was a Paul Smith bag, but Walter was having none of it. Get it out, But he liked a good noise up as well. So every time I see this bag now, it's my Walter Smith bag. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I'll ever throw it out because it brings a smile to my face, because he did like a good laugh as well. Walter Smith and all the managers, past players, teammates, people in the profession paid their respects at the memorial service today, and well done to Gabriel Antoniazzi out there with Craig Vickers, our team, to cover that sad event. And so to Walter's favourite team, Rangers. They're taking on Hibs. It's now Rangers led by Giovanni van Bronckhorst. He will undoubtedly be looking to try and bring in his entire management team. There's a little suggestion, Tam, that he might even look towards Neil McCann as a Scottish element, just to give him that insight into certain aspects of the game that he hasn't been witness to in over 20 years.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, he obviously was at Rangers a long time ago, but the players and the coaches and probably the style of play has all changed since then. So I think it makes sense for him to get someone like Neil McCann who knows Scottish football inside out. He's been at a lot of Rangers games working for Rangers TV. I think he's very good at assessing a game tactically. So I think that would be a good, a good appointment for Van Bronckhorst. But what a boost that gives Rangers for me. Obviously from a Hibs point of view, I was hoping that he didn't get announced before Sunday. Maybe it dragged on and the fans were nervous. But just judging on social media last night, the fans are absolutely buzzing that he's there. I believe he's going to be in the stand on Sunday. I spoke briefly to Ross Wilson last night. I think Ross opened a large bottle of wine last night after they get it done because he's been running about mental, I think, for about a week. So he's delighted that he's got it done as well. So he'll be in the stand beside Van Bronckhorst on Sunday. So I think it'll give Rangers a massive boost getting him in at this stage.
And it's a 3.5-year deal. Here's some quotes from the aforementioned Ross Wilson regarding the capture of Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Gio has already shown himself to be a winner. He knows the club, he knows the quality of the squad and is absolutely aligned with our approach and mindset. Gio has been part of a long list of managers we've been tracking for a period of time to ensure we are always ready. We found agreement with Gio extremely quickly and have enjoyed working with him on assembling a backroom team. They will complement the already excellent support staff we have built up here at Ibrox. So once they all come into place, then semi-final. After that, he really gets himself in there among the players and starts to implement his ethos and ideas.
Yes. No, I think you have to congratulate Rangers for the way they went about it. They've identified the guy they wanted. They went out and got him. I don't know how many candidates got interviewed, but he was the main one, and I think obviously they learnt a lesson from Celtic across the road with the charade they had trying to get a new manager and what it all dragged on. So it is a quick appointment. I think he's very shrewd in taking charge of the team, but he'll be there. He'll just take the final. And it's not my fault if you get beat.
Well, to be fair to him, Ruffy, it is a bit of a a no-win situation for him. If you walk in, shake the players, and then you suddenly have to sit in that dugout, you're not really going to get any extensive message out, are you?
I don't know. Is he? I know he's a manager and that. He's allowed to go into the dressing room, isn't he?
Oh, listen.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll go in, and say hello. I mean, and Tom's right. The players will get a massive lift from just walking into the dressing room and going, here I am, I'm not the manager just now, and I'll be watching and whatever, and it's a bigger lift for what it was yesterday to what it is now.
Yeah, Roy Mackay, Arno Phillips, Yuri Boschart and Jean-Paul Gastel, and possibly a Scottish coach of some stature. It may well be a former player who's got a bit of experience, will help him. Certainly, we mentioned there the front runner might be Neil McCann, but it's a 3.5-year deal for Giovanni van Bronckhorst. The game starts, he'll be watching from the stand, and he'll be watching a Hibs side that is desperate to get to a final. They've had so many chances, but just failed in the last few years, according to Jack Ross, the Hibs boss.
We've set high ambitions in terms of wanting to win one, and we want to do that. But getting to this stage consistently is the first part of it. We've just got to go that step further. And we've got a group that understand that there was missed opportunities for us last year.
Yeah, missed opportunities. Semi-finals have been a real bugbear for the Hibs.
Yeah, they have. Listen, last season St Johnstone turned them over proper. I think it was in the League Cup semi-final. So listen, it's about time that Hibs put that to bed. The Hibs supporters are waiting for Jack Ross to win a big game. I'm talking about a big game against a Celtic or Rangers. Not beat Celtic or Rangers yet, unfortunately. This would go down massively with the Hibs supporters. I think it's a big ask to beat Rangers, but I played in the last time, but 2004, 17 years ago, and I tell you what, we were far bigger underdogs than this Hibs team was going on against this Rangers team.
Yeah.
I look back at the Rangers team that was back then. So
17 years ago, Tom.
17 years ago.
Can you remember the Rangers team?
Yeah, I can remember Michael Moll scored in the first half for Rangers, and we got an absolute down, but we hung in. Arteta missed a penalty, and just speaking about guys like that, that was the quality. Frank de Boer was playing, Ronald de Boer was playing, and we had Kevin Thompson, Scott Brown, Whittaker all running about on £300 or £400 a week. So. Yeah. we were huge underdogs. We stayed in the game. Stephen Dobie scored with 10 minutes to go. And then in extra time, we kind of ran over the top of Rangers because of the youth and the energy we had in the team. And we managed to beat them in penalty kicks. I think Frank de Boer missed. So when I look back at that team, in terms of the bookies, I think we would have been about 20-1, 25-1. So this Hibs team's got an opportunity. What they must do is try and keep it tight early doors. There's no doubt for me that Rangers will come out fired up. Supporters will be there buzzing. Van Bronckhorst will be in the stand. Very important that Hibs, the first 20-25 minutes, don't get in the way. Try and grow into the game. And even if they do lose a goal, they keep it at 1-0, like we did back then, till 15-20 minutes to go, and then you can have a goal. But if it goes 2-0, I don't think there's any way back. But I think Hibs have got a chance if they go and play well.
Yeah, I love the way Tam just rolled those names off his tongue. Kevin Thompson, Scott Brown, yourself there. Who else was it you mentioned?
Whittaker was playing. Derek Riordan and Gary Connor was the front two. The both of them were about 18 or 19.
Yeah, but with all due respect, you might have been on 300 or 400 quid, but they were all good players, Ruffy.
That's an excellent team.
Isn't it?
I think Gary Caldwell was in that
Caldwell
team as well.
played as well, aye.
In the back, yeah. Oh, wonderful side. It's amazing how you get teams like that. And managers must be saying, God, if we could keep them all together, for 2 or 3 years or whatever, and all of a sudden they all started vanishing, didn't they?
Yeah, you just want, that's the thing about it, you have to get, when you get a side like that, you have to get a 1 or 2 year window where you all click to give, fans something that they'll never forget, Tam.
Well, that was the season that we beat Celtic in the quarter-finals, and I can remember that game as well. Celtic had been unbeaten all season. The Martin O'Neill's team rolled in last and they all played. And we were 1-0 down again with 15 minutes to go, and I put a corner in with about 10 minutes to go, and John Kennedy went up and a brush of the blood to the head and handballed it. And Grant Brebner scored one each, and all of a sudden we got a wee sniff here. And Kevin Thompson scored the winner with about 5 minutes to go, and we beat Celtic. Then we beat Rangers, and that was the final. We went to massive favourites to beat Livingston in the final with 40,000 Hibs supporters there. I wouldn't say we bottled it. Livingston were still an excellent team, but you're right. That was an opportunity for that team to win something for Hibs. And we got to the final and we just fell short. But
you remember the Livingston team?
I can remember who scored.
I was in the press box that day and I can't even remember the Livingston team. It was Stuart Lovell in it.
Stuart Lovell played, Marvin Andrews played, Jamie McAllister scored one of the goals and Derek Lilly scored one of the goals.
Goalkeeper?
No, it would have been the boy
Brotto,
who moved
maybe?
to Celtic.
I think it was Brotto who was in goal. They had a good side, Livingston. They were a Premier League team and they had a wee bit more know-how and experience than us, and we kind of 40,000 there, we thought, we need to win here.
What's the strategy at the moment? There seems to be a real push for Hibs to try and sign up players. Some you think, okay, I get it. Lewis Stevens has got another deal. Now, having watched him at Easter Road, Josh Doig obviously at times has to be given his platform to go, and Lewis Stevenson will undoubtedly be helping him, but I think Stevenson's still a marvellous player. But I was slightly surprised that he got an extended deal, but he's such a die-hard Hibby. So he got a deal. Christian Doidge, Paul Hanlon, and now Jake Doyle-Hayes today till 2025.
Brilliant. I think that Hibs have got a clear plan now. They want to try and tie up their best players, and we just mentioned it there. For far too long, Hibs have brought players through and they've lost them straight away. They've not been able to build a team. Jake Doyle-Hayes has been a great signing. He's been very, very good. I know, speaking to Stephen Kenny, he's on the Island radar. So he's close to getting a wee call up for international duty, and if he gets in there as well, his value will grow. So I think the Hibs supporters will be delighted by all four of them. Well, at least they should be, because Hanlon and Stevenson have been fantastic servants, and I still think they've both got a lot to offer. And Christian Doidge, it's amazing when you're a striker, if you're out for a long time and the team's struggling, how much better you get. Yeah. I don't know if it's the same with goalkeepers, but when you're out for an extended period of time, you get better as you're injured.
Do you think he'll play?
No, I don't think he'll play. We spoke about it. Listen, Jack spoke about it today, so I don't think it's any secret. He played 45 minutes in a bounce game during the week against Charlie's team Dundee, and by all accounts he's still a wee bit rusty. He's coming back for a bad injury, so I think he'll be on the bench at least. Yeah, I don't know about this one, Ruffy. I mean, obviously it's not in our predictor, that's a cert, because Tam doesn't want anything over and above the required amounts. Although if it was me, I'd be taking everything in to try and get as many points as possible. But in this first semi-final, I think Rangers will edge it 2-1, but I think it might take extra time.
Yeah, I'm only going to the evidence of Tam coming in every Monday and telling us how bad Hibs have been over the last 3 or 4 games. There for everybody to see. They have went off the boil, but you just put that in the back burner. You're turning up, you're at a semi-final. We all know, we've seen games that look certainties, decisions, maybe a last man, somebody gets sent off, a penalty, or some decision that goes your way, and whatever goes your way, you have to hang on to it. Rangers are definitely the favourites. You know, they've got, I would say, the better players in certain positions. They've got match winners, but when you go into a semi-final, you don't think about that. You just think that you're going to win it. And on the day, if enough of your players turn up, your big players turn up on the day, and Hibs have got big players, but they need to turn up. They need to show the form that they had shown before they went on that wee slump.
Yeah, okay, so that's lovely Hibs.
Well,
keeps me in with my Easter Road pals. Could be a couple of dinners in Edinburgh. And now...
I think Rangers will win. I do.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
Honestly.
Rangers will win because they've got big time players.
What were you like, Ruffy, at school when you know maybe there was a potential chance for you to form a relationship with someone, and then you went, you're a lovely girl, you've got a great personality, brilliant clothes, you've got a great taste in music. I really like you, but no, not. Is that what you did? No, not going out with you.
No, I always anticipated there would be a knockback, so I'd have plan B.
Yeah, I get that feeling from you.
It's a numbers game, Ruffy.
It really is. It's the longest run ever to eventually just kibosh somebody. Anyway, so you're going Rangers. Are you going to go Hibs?
I'm going to go Hibs.
Yeah.
I think it'll be extra time penalties. I think Hibs are capable of keeping it close, and we rub of the green here or there. No pun intended. I think they'll get into the final.
Okay, Celtic against St Johnstone is the other match. It's 5:15 kick-off for this one. Ange Postecoglou will get a real taste of Hampden. He'll certainly get a real taste of the huge support that will be there. He certainly mentioned that. But he's got obviously no way is Ange Postecoglou going to underestimate the opposition to St Johnstone.
To be fair, Herbie, you're playing a semi-final of a tournament. You know it's not going to be an easy game. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be an arm wrestle. It's going to be competitive. There's going to be some nervousness on both sides. So, because as I said, the consequences of success and what the consequences of failure are, everything gets decided on that day. So. It's going to be I think a typical cup game where I think both sides will put their best foot forward.
Yeah, this one I think's got, if I thought the Rangers one was going to be tight, this one I just think because, and I mentioned it to you the other day there, Ruffy, I just think because there's a wee bit of emotion attached to it, everybody will be wearing the number 10 shirt, there'll be a minute's silence for Berthiaud. And the way Celtic are playing at the moment, it's an 8-game unbeaten run, 7 wins and a draw. I think they could win it by a couple.
Yeah, I'm still a bit dubious about the Celtic defence we saw against Dundee, that there was chances, and even Dundee's goals, there were not great goals, there were goals that could have been prevented. But as long as Celtic keeps scoring 3 and 4 goals, with that front three and that midfield, I think it may be a high score, and it might be again 4-2, something like that. But I just think Celtic have too much firepower up front, and these guys who haven't been to Hampden before, the new signings, will love playing at Hampden. They'll absolutely love the wide spaces and with Turnbull and McGregor, and I just think they'll be driving most of the game. I would think Celtic probably have 75% of the game and more shots on target and off target. I think they've just got everything more than what St Johnstone will have.
I want to get your thoughts on what Callum McGregor, the captain of Celtic, would be feeling, because this is a different side now. Callum's been involved in a really good Celtic side that was dominating Scottish football, and he played his own part. I mean, he scored some goals in finals as well. So I wonder what he'll be thinking now as he is leading a team it's different from the previous manager, Neil Lennon and Brendan Rodgers' side, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a different pressure on Callum McGregor. He's now the captain. He's leading the team out. Celtic and Rangers, for that matter, they need to be winning trophies, need to be winning silverware. I think all the pressure is on Celtic. There's no doubt about that. And let's not forget St Johnstone won both cups last season. They are well accustomed to Hampden. They're capable of going there and keeping it tight. I think Celtic will probably just win it, but if St Johnstone were to score first, I think Celtic could have problems breaking them down again. But if Celtic score first, St Johnstone have to come out. You can see it being 3 or 4-0. So, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Celtic. I think St Johnstone are capable of scoring. But as Ruffy says, that front three, the wide open spaces. Jota out in one wing and Abada, whoever it was, and Kyogo. I think they've got too much for St Johnstone in the forward areas.
You said 3-1?
Yes.
But 5 minutes ago you said, did you think St Johnstone could create a shock?
I did, but I'm going to go for 3-1.
You two have got... I'd hate to have you two.
Ruffy just painted the picture and I went, I'm going to go with Ruffy, 3-1.
No, but the funny thing is, I'd hate to have you two going up into a court of law to try and be character.
You're going to cover all your bases, aren't you?
I mean, if you two were defending and you had to stand up there and help me out, I'd be gushed. He lasted 1.5 minutes with an opinion. I mean, what chance have I got?
If we were defending you, we'd go, what a great guy, fantastic, but we think he's guilty.
I think that's fair, Ruffy. I mentioned Callum McGregor, the Celtic captain, says, listen, what's happened before has gone. It's time for this new group to try and get to a final and create their own history.
No, I think, like I just said there, as a new team, then, we have to create our own history. We can't rely on what's happened before. Teams gone past. All we can do on is draw on the experiences that we've got as a group. Try and move forward, and like I said, when we get to these big games, then we have to make them count, and the only way you do that is by preparing well, working hard, and then when the opportunity comes around, you've got to take it.
Well, if anything about the opposition is they are dogged, they are determined, they've been over the course, regardless of maybe the start of their league campaign not going quite according to plan. Callum Davison is a cool character. He might be missing, a couple of players, Glenn Middleton, Stevie May, are not available for him, but he's still got, a good defence, Ruffy, and they still know how to, keep things tight and maybe nick one.
Oh, when you play St Johnstone, you have to really work hard for whatever you get out of the game. And you don't want to be letting them score first because they've proved that they can be hard to break down. I just think the way the form is just now, you can see where they're sitting in the league, and you can see where Celtic are motoring on, and we keep talking about that front three, and that front three will score goals, so you've got to say to yourself, have St Johnstone got 2 goals in them? Because I think that's what they'll need to win the game, and I think Celtic have got goals in them without worrying about that. So I agree with Tam. I think it could be 3-1, 3-0, something like that.
Just picking up on your point, 1 win in the last 5 league games for St Johnstone is not good reading. Although Callum Davison says, they've got nothing to fear going into this one.
Obviously, we're playing one of the top teams in Scotland, so we know it's going to be really tough. We know we've got to have that little bit of luck going our way. But for me, as long as we work hard and we put a shift in and give ourselves an opportunity to try and win the game, that's what I expect of the players. And we're going to hand them. We've got nothing to fear. We've been here before. We've performed well there, so I'm expecting a good performance. And whether that is enough to win the game, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. If anything, I do have a certain amount of sympathy for the fans. Although they'll be outnumbered by Celtic supporters, it would have been great last season just for the fans to be able to wallow in it. 2 finals, 2 wins. That silverware, okay, there'll be thousands of them going to McDermott Park and getting the photographs taken with the trophies. Even still, it would have been great just to savour all that. And I think that's maybe what will drive a few players on to try and get to the final with the fans again.
Yeah, definitely. I think they've got great memories of Hampden. They're going there, and as soon as they get back in that dressing room and walking out the tunnel, they think, we've been here, we've done it. I think that's a big thing. When you've won something, you get back the following season, they'll give them the confidence. As I said, they need to score the first goal, St Johnstone. No doubt about it for me. They have to score the first goal to have an opportunity to win the game. It'll be interesting to see if he plays O'Halloran. I've always liked O'Halloran. He's got pace. And Celtic's 2 fullbacks like to bomb on. So, if I was Callum Davison, I'd maybe play him and I'd ask him maybe cheat. When Celtic's forwards go forward, just sit in that wee pocket, in between the wide man, and then try and go on the ball and run at the back to Celtic. So, I'm sure he's got a plan to try and win the game, Callum Davison, but I just think Celtic at this point in time are playing too well, and they've got too many big guns up top.
And talking of that, if it is indeed Celtic against Rangers, you're talking about December 19th. By that time, Giovanni van Bronckhorst will have had his feet under the table about the training. He knows the way, what he has at his disposal. He'll see it there, and he'll be able to, over this period of time, roughly, as I look now, we're on the 19th of November, he will have a full month to try and work with the players if they get there.
Yeah, he'll obviously have his own methods, but I can't see Rangers changing that much. You know, we see it's a solid back 4 with a goalkeeper. and in midfield they've got an array of midfield boys that he can play, and up front they seem to have the ability, Rangers, you know, to turn out the same 9 or 10 every week. So I can't see anybody jumping in for left field. I can't see him promoting anybody that's not there already.
Yeah, I'd love to be a fly in the wall though when Giovanni, if no disrespect to Hibs or St Johnstone, Tam, just playing the noise up card here, but wouldn't it be amazing when Giovanni, if Rangers got to the final against Celtic, walked out, he sees the 50-50 split of supporters. He can't believe it. I mean, the atmosphere would be brilliant in an Old Firm final, and then eventually, you know, less than a month later, they explained to him, no, Giovanni, we don't have any fans at Celtic Park because the two teams have now gone. The two teams have now gone backwards since you left. They're so petty that they ban each other.
That's right.
And by the way, you won't be speaking to too many members of the press either.
Yeah, that is right. No, listen, he's obviously played in Old Firm games back in the day, early 2000s, and he'd have been used to what, 8,000, 10,000 away fans, at both Ibrox and Parkhead. So you know he'll be. Yes, he'll go out to Celtic Park, and that's just start of January into that first Old Firm, second Old Firm game. That'll be a big game, but first things first, I've got to beat the mighty Hibs on Sunday.
Absolutely. There's the line that should annoy the life out of you. If you're a Rangers fan and you're posting your messages, give us your thoughts. What do you think it's going to be in that match between Rangers and Hibs? And then there's the small matter of Celtic against St Johnstone as well. Give us your predictions for the Premier Sports Cup semi-final. Don't forget you can hit the subscribe button, and thank you to the many people who are now joining the football family in PLZ Soccer for the football show, and we've got lots of specials coming up. There's a one-to-one that will be released next week with Gordon Strachan. He just takes us on a trip down memory lane. I caught him earlier this week, and we discussed not only the great days at Aberdeen, he started off at Dundee, let's not forget, and then took us on a roller coaster of stories from Aberdeen to Manchester United to Leeds United as well, Coventry, and then that managerial roller coaster, which Southampton and FA Cup final against Arsenal, and Celtic as the manager in Scotland as well. So there's so much in it, and he's in absolutely top form, let me tell you. So it's well worth a watch, one-to-one on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. And coming up next week, we've got some fantastic prizes to get us in the mood for the festive period, when not only do we have the League Cup final, Tam, on the 19th of December, we also have the Christmas staff night out as well.
No, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't care who wins the cup, it will not affect our mood.
It will be if Hibs get into the final, and I'll need to work at the game. But no, looking forward to the final and the Christmas night. It's always interesting, the whole Christmas night out.
Yeah.
See what sort of Nick Ruffy's in.
And do you know what's different about this year's Christmas night out? Have you thought about it?
There's going to be other people there.
That's a good point. There's going to be people in the pub. It's going to be the nightclub as well. Ruffy, you'll be doing your own 1970s stuff.
You have to strategically place yourself where you're sitting, preferably beside people who don't drink, because that means there's more on the table for your side of the table.
I was just about to say, so you're sitting next to Hugh. Yeah, absolutely. Not a drink will touch his mouth, apart from maybe some still water. Okay, that's the semi-finals. Give us your thoughts on it. We'd love to hear from you on that one. There's lots of people offering us their odds on this. And Dan says, great show, lads. Mon the Hibbies on Sunday. I'm with Tam. I've got a score on Hibs, which is not bad. 5-1, nice price.
Yeah, good price.
That would
you put £20 on, you get nothing back.
Yeah, well,
I'm only kidding, Dan.
Dan,
go and collect your money.
Dan, this guy does not have an opinion that lasts longer than 3 minutes, but £100 would be all right, wouldn't it?
That'd be nice, aye. Hopefully he gets his money.
Yep, and lots of people. And just watched, Alan Robertson says, I've just watched the Rangers versus Hibs 2004 penalty shootout, and that was some penalty from you, Tam. Better hairdo in those days.
Where did you put it?
It was amazing, because I had played at Ibrox a couple of months before, and it was 2 each. Kloss was in goal, and I'd scored the volley that game.
Yeah.
And it was 2 each in the second half, and we got a penalty at Ibrox. I know I was shocked as well. So I was taking the penalties, and I tried to place it, and Kloss just went down and just gobbled it up.
Yeah.
And my dad after the game says, what if I tell you about your penalties? Get your foot through it.
Yeah.
So that penalty I hammed in Bobby, the penalty shooting, Bobby's going, right, who wants to take one? And I don't know why, I just went, I'll take one. So I had to walk with the ball right down towards all the Rangers fans.
Which one did you take?
25, but fourth. I had to score. And Kloss was standing like that, and I put my foot through it, and I just blasted it through the middle. And he went like that, he put his hand up, and the ball just went by his heart before he moved.
Is that right?
He knew I was going to blast it by you. He knew, but I hit it that well. Because I think he just thought, I've saved his last one, he's going to put his foot through this wee numbskull.
Yeah,
but
glad you said numbskull. Scully, who's from Scully, is from Michigan in the USA. I love the show, and we absolutely love the fact that you're able to join us. The amount of people who join us from Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, all enjoying the show. Lots of expats who just want a wee flavour of Scottish football, and to see that you are still well, Ruffy, and still looking great.
Yeah, I'm still looking great. I'm not feeling great. I've told you I've had a bad run of tennis defeats, but I'm not putting that down to my age. But I'm just going to keep try and dig myself out of this bad spell.
3 finals, 3 defeats.
Yeah.
Sounds like me.
Bring it up,
Yeah, I really wanted to bring it up because quite a lot of people are mentioning the fact that they're delighted that Ruffy has lost the 3 tennis finals, because that's what happens when you just disregard your long-term mates and start playing with other people.
New partner?
Oh, he just hangs about with other people. It's unbelievable.
He's not happy with your temper tantrums, that's the thing.
Well,
says you go in a huff.
It's all changing at Christmas time, because the Christmas present will be out. It'll be plugged in, and
you got a tennis thing, simulator thing?
Simulator.
Yes,
I'm going to get.
Have you?
The LTA sent a thing out now. You can get a rating, a ranking, even if you're a club member.
Yeah.
You know, you can get mine.
So let's hope your losing streak continues all the way through. Anyway, apart from anything else, Ruffy's on a losing streak. So let's see if he's on a losing streak with regards to the fixtures in the Scottish Premiership. And there's more than a few to look forward to here. I'll be at Fir Park, Motherwell against Hearts. What a game that's going to be. There's Dundee United against Aberdeen, which should be a cracker, and St Mirren against Livingston as well. So there you have it. Motherwell Hearts. Motherwell defeated Aberdeen in the last game, and I think Graham Alexander is quick to point out, listen, it's one win. There's no point in everybody celebrating this. It needs to be consistency.
We didn't want to just pat ourselves on the back after one good result and then think everything was rosy in the garden. I think it's important that we understand that there's still improvements to be made. It was a great start to our sort of recovery after the month that we had, but there's a lot of tough games coming up, as we know, and but it's just about making sure that we clarify how we play well, how we're hard to beat, and then go and replicate it as often as possible in training, and the training will lead into the games.
I think his biggest job is trying to shore up that back line. Other than the 2 bottom clubs, they've conceded the most goals, Tam. That's where he has to sort it out.
Yeah, I think so. I think that Aberdeen were unfortunate a couple of weeks ago. They missed a lot of chances in the first half and they get sucker punched. I think Motherwell's only 2 shots on target or 2 goals. So
yeah.
I think Hearts rolling into town. Hearts are flying. John Souttar coming back, must have been a crest of a wave, after his Scotland performances. So I think Hearts will win. I think I've got Hearts to win 2-1 in the Predictor, and I think Hearts will keep marching on. I think they'll take 3 points.
Yep, I'm looking at it. You have got them to win 2-1. I think Motherwell will struggle to get a goal against this Hearts side. I think, I'm really looking forward to seeing John Souttar again. What a week it's been for him, Ruffy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and I think everybody knows what he's went through. I had never ever picked up a long-term injury in my career, but he was out for nearly 18 months.
Twice, I think.
Achilles is a bad one, and it's one of the ones. It's not a cruise ship, but Achilles is a bad one to come back for. But well done to the lad. He's came back. He's absolutely buzzing.
Is it just me, or does he look chunkier? He looks more muscly. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think a lot of players they've all got the conditioning. I think that's one of the things the actual. Rely on, to be bulked up and be upper body strength. But Hearts are taking 3,500 supporters to Motherwell.
Well, I'm not surprised at that.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Hearts always take a great support when they're winning and they're doing well.
Yeah.
I've always watched the Hearts fans travel near and far when they're on a wee run. And let's not forget, they've scored a lot of goals. Only Rangers and Celtic have scored more than them in the league, Tam.
Yeah, and they're sharing the goals around. It's not just the strikers that are scoring. You've got Kingsley popping up with a few goals. Cochrane as well scored. Souttar scored a couple of weeks ago as well. So they're getting goals from all areas, midfield as well. So I just think Hearts look strong. I think Motherwell will struggle against them. I do fancy Hearts strongly to win the game. Okay, the other match which I'm really looking forward to is Dundee United against Aberdeen. Dundee United 4th in the table.
3 games without a win before the break, but I think when you look at what they're achieving this season, Ruffy, I think this one has got the makings of a cracker, and I know Aberdeen have been describing it. Andrew Shiney yesterday described it in the North East as a blip. I'm not so sure.
Well, the manager and the players will be hoping it is, but Tom's right. That game, Aberdeen had more than a few chances to beat Motherwell. They just never took them. I'm basing my prediction on that, and obviously Dundee United get a bit of a thumping at Tynecastle. They've got a home advantage. I can't split the two of them. I think I've sat in the fence in this one and went one each.
Yeah, Tom?
I think Aberdeen will shade it. I think that you're talking about Hearts taking a big support. I mean, I think Aberdeen will take a big support down to Tannadice. I think they'll be well backed. I don't know. I just fancy Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen are playing well. They need to take their opportunities. They're creating a lot of chances. Big boy Ramirez has got his share, but somebody needs to chip in as well, because it seems to be if Ramirez doesn't score, nobody's scoring at Aberdeen. The guys run about them, your Hedges and Watkins and guys like that, I've got to chip in with goals. So I think Aberdeen will sneak it 2-1.
Well, depending on the results elsewhere, Dundee United in this game, if they get the win, could go level with Hearts. Aberdeen, on the other hand, Stephen Glass is just keen to try and close the gap on Dundee United in the table.
From our point of view, they're sitting 6 points in front of us, and we'd like to claw that back at the weekend. It's our first opportunity to do it. So that's all our focus is on. I'm not really interested in plaudits that other teams are getting.
Yeah, listen, is it because he hasn't been able to get the type of team that he wants out regularly, or is it just basically that they haven't clicked and haven't really got a grasp of what this manager wants?
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's basically, I think midfield, they're strong. Up front, they're okay, they'll score goals against most of the other sides. I think it's the back four and the goalkeeper. Obviously the goalkeeper's come back in after being out a wee while. He's a big player for them, Lewis, particularly last season. So if he can get back to the form that he was on, I think the 2 young fullbacks, one of them still out, injured. I think one of them's in a bit there. They two looked as if they were promising, but we've seen it when you throw young boys in there in important positions when you're not winning games, and they struggle a wee bit, So I always think they're vulnerable at the back, but certainly with Brown in there, McCrory and Ferguson, they 3 should be doing more.
Yeah, he wants an answer from Ryan Hedges. He's keen to try and keep him before the end of December, but I think bearing in mind that they had to try and knock back previous offers, I think they're going to be up against it trying to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, we've saw it on numerous occasions. Players for Aberdeen and Dundee United, the lure down in England, it doesn't matter what division it is, everybody wants to be down there, everybody wants to be, trying themselves against a better player, and certainly he'll want to go down somewhere and try and impress somebody at a bigger club and get another move. So it's unfortunate that the wages we pay up here cannot compete with anything down in England.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I've gone for Dundee United to win this one 2-1. You're going the draw?
1 each.
And you're going?
I went for Aberdeen 2-1.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I like that, Tam, because I think this year, Ruffy, when we look at the predictor, I think we'll look back when we get to May, probably at the PFA Awards, when we're looking forward to the end of season meal. I think we'll look back and we'll say, Tam really lost this entire competition when he started backing all his mates that work in football. Is that fair, Ruffy?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, from his point of view, you're looking at the fixtures and you need to have a good week. I mean, we've all had bad weeks, but you can't continually keep having bad weeks. You've got to turn.
And the thing is, I've got to kind of go different for yours now because I'm bottom. So if I can't just match yours, even if I quite fancy them, I've got to go against you to try and get close the gap.
And Bob says both fullbacks are out, Ruffy, for Aberdeen. There you are.
So they're only got 2 centre-halves.
Yeah.
Stay fullbacks.
Thanks, Bob, because that really puts me in a good mood as far as their team news is concerned. I just don't see them winning it. Listen, we might be wrong. It's all about opinions. Some of them that we give you annoy the life out of you and you get slightly angry, but you will get an opinion and you'll get more than a few chances to win some great prizes next week on the show. If you hit the subscribe button, we'd be delighted. If you get a chance, download the PLZ Soccer app. It has all the latest breaking stories across the globe. And obviously, if you download the app, you'll see a little tribute that I've paid to Walter Smith and some photographs of some good memories there. And there's also a section which is submissions, where you can actually send us a picture of yourself, and lots of people have done that, and thank you to the countless people who've done that. You can post a message to us and it'll drop right in front of us right now, or you can record a little video, and if we use it on the programme, we'll send you out something nice. Simple as that. Okay, down south, Steven Gerrard all set for the Aston Villa debut. Here's the fixtures, and here's how it all fits in with Aston Villa. It's Aston Villa against Brighton, Newcastle, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man City, and Manchester United against West Brom. And also on the Sunday, it's Fulham against Everton, Sheffield United, West Ham, Leeds United, Arsenal, and Liverpool against Leicester. And then it's Burnley, Crystal Palace, and Wolves against Southampton.
No, it's all eyes on Aston Villa. For me, obviously, Steven Gerrard going down there, everybody will be waiting to see what he's going to do. Obviously, John McGinn, who was tremendous for Scotland in between, and I think everybody will be just looking to see how he does.
Yeah, sorry, it was Man United Watford. I don't know why I read West Brom there. It was in my head for some reason, or it was on, or I typed it down as West Brom.
You've got Fulham in there, I know.
I know. I've got everybody in here, and it's an absolute disgrace. I don't know why I've written that down, but nevertheless, who are Everton playing? I might as well just look at it now, because it's definitely not Fulham.
Man City away.
Man City away. Why have I got Fulham here? That's a bit of the old Anchorman, Yeah. To hell with you, San Diego.
Just bin that and go to St Mirren Levy.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. Yeah, have I forgotten him? Just one of those days. By the way, before I get to St Mirren against Livingston, my apologies to St Mirren fans in Livingston. I've skipped ahead there. Mikel Arteta, who's a former Rangers player, now the Arsenal manager, says he wants to thank Steven Gerrard for stopping Celtic winning 10 in a row.
As a Rangers fan as well, I must say that thank you so much to Stevie and the coaching staff for what they did for the club, because they turned the club around in such a difficult moment, and to manage to win the league in the way they did it, obviously was a big boost. Football is like that. People want to move. People had other expectations, and now just I wish the best to Giovanni and the club, and see what happens.
Yeah, of course, Giovanni. He played with Giovanni van Bronckhorst at Rangers, so there's lots of ex-Rangers players out there in the management world, and still keep an eye on the club. St Mirren against Livingston. Yes. We've got to talk about it, Ruffy. It's the big one. Just so big, I forgot all about it. But the one thing that surprised me is St Mirren are 8th, they're 5 points above the relegation zone with just 3 wins. From their opening 13 games. I just wonder, Tam, I thought they were going to be far better than what they're producing.
Yeah, so did I. I thought they would be challenging for the top 6. They were unlucky last season just to miss out on it. In the last day, St Johnstone sneaked in, so I still think they'll beat Livingston. Livingston have started to pick up results, particularly away from home. They've picked up a few good results. But I just think St Mirren have got a little bit more firepower. If Brophy plays, he's in good form at the minute. I think St Mirren will sneak that 2-1.
Yeah, and wouldn't it be great if we had Jim Goodwin talking about the form of Livingston? We have.
They've had some really good away results in particular. The 0-0 at Parkhead, the most recent league fixture. There won't be many teams go to Parkhead between now and the end of the season and keep a clean sheet. So I think that tells you, the level of organisation that they've got going there. But also added to that, they've scored 3 goals away at St Johnstone, 3 goals away at Ross County. So, they're hitting a bit of form at the right time.
Yeah, listen, Ruffy, I've tipped Livingston to go down. I've tipped, I think, Ross County to be in the playoff. I'm not going to change my mind on that, because I think these clubs will all take points off each other. They'll have a little purple patch and then they'll drop back. And I think we'll get into that final stage of games where they're all playing each other after the split. And that's when I think we'll start to really see, clubs feel the pain.
No, I know you're saying that St Mirren haven't won that many games in the 13, but most of the games I've seen, they've been in it. you know, and if they'd taken their chances, they probably could have had more points in the bag. So home advantage, I think they're pretty strong with McGrath, you know, and you're saying Brophy, and unfortunately it looks as if they're going to lose McGrath in January. So no, these are the games, the fixtures that St Mirren have got to win, and I think they will win.
Yeah.
Yep, 2-1 to St Mirren for me.
2-1 to St Mirren. I think I've got, I'm just going to check this, Tam, I'm not sure. I've got 1-1. Can't separate them. You can give us your thoughts on that as well. Who have you got this weekend, Ruffy?
We have got Hamilton Accies.
The last time you had Hamilton Accies. Last time you had Hamilton Accies.
I think they've got their act together now. I think they've sort of got a wee bit more organised than that night, you know. So we need to start winning home games. We can't afford draws anymore. We need to keep getting 3 points to catch up with everybody else.
Yeah, there's somebody here who says who would win a foot race between Peter and Ruffy.
Foot race?
Yeah, a race. Yeah.
Over what distance? 10 yards?
To be fair, to be fair, there's only one of us run 5 marathons.
Yes.
Could you have run a marathon, Ruffy?
No, never. I could never ever run. I remember, as clear as in, pre-season, we all used to go 5-mile runs first day, and I used to take a pound with me. Because I was so far behind everybody, I used to jump in a taxi.
Yeah,
and it was only a pound?
And then jump out, you know, when I caught up.
Yeah, and you think he's joking. He absolutely did that, Tam. Have you ever run a marathon?
No, I hated long distance running as well. I remember
done.
Bobby Wilson took us to Chateau Row one day with Hibs. And I didn't pull my calf, but I threw one in and I got lost. I got back about an hour later. I got lost in the forest. No, it's a forest in there, and I chucked it halfway through it and walked it.
We went in a pre-season. It was like a 5-mile run, and wee Bertie said, right, everybody stick together. And I said to him, do they stick together in the marathon and the Olympics? And he just looked at me and I went, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I might beat him over short and long distances, but I wouldn't beat him with a tennis racket in his hand. Although I fear, you know, January, we're going to have to film it, Ruffy.
Yes.
We're doing the big singles head-to-head.
Singles.
It's the last one to give me the chance to finally give you that doing that I've been longing to give you. It's not really that great when
I'm coming to watch it.
When you consider he's 70. I should be beating him, but he's such a good player at the old tennis.
Does he just drag out the net and hit it his head?
Yeah, he just looks.
Just get him running about.
Great touches. Well, I run about when I'm playing doubles with him, but nevertheless, he's got such a good eye for it and a great touch with a tennis racket. Anyway, apart from anything else, this weekend, enjoy your football. If you're going out to a match, wrap up. It's getting very, very close, Tam, to the Long Johns. I don't know if you're doing that with the Hibs TV, but it's getting colder.
A big bring the wee electric heater out shortly. You know, the wee electric heater. No fancy that?
Not allowed that.
Yeah.
How?
Health and safety.
Yeah.
You set a fire.
No, it's just a wee portable one you get and you plug it into the thing, mate.
He moved on to the Thistle board. He's absolutely unbearable, by the way. Okay, don't take a heater. Just wrap up warm. Enjoy the game. Follow your team. It's only a game. It's football. We all love it. We all have a bit of banter. And on a day like today, when so many great people in Scottish football and beyond paid tribute to Walter Smith, if there's one thing Walter liked was a bit of banter, a wind-up, a noise-up. But he loved winning. From Ruffy, from Tam and myself. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and we will see you on Monday.